Hi, it's Professor Mary coming to you from the Computer Graphic Arts program here at Rowan College. So we're going to review the project requirements and the project expectations for CGA 217 electronic image processing for project number 3. So I'm going to come over to the Blackboard site. On the left hand side I'm going to click on where it says project drop boxes, and then I'm going to scroll down till I see project 3. And project 3 is the Arcambolo project, and it's based out on a 15th century artist called Giuseppe Arcambolo, who made paintings of people's heads out of things like fruits, vegetables, books, flowers, fish, you name it. So he was he lived from 1520 to 1590. And he took some of these, very, very, and then we were in this point in time in terms of the art, we were in the Renaissance period, and we were also into the Baroque area. And he developed this thing called mannerist art, and it shows close relationship between humans and nature. Now in this project, you're going to be, first, you should read all this information. You should review the examples that I've given you, and then also review the files, the submission requirements. So in this case, you're going to be creating an 11 by 17 or letter format, and you can either do it landscape or portrait. And again, when you send me the file for submission, it's going to be zipped with all the files. You're also going to print it and mount it. So if we click on the actual project 3, I want to point out that again there's a project rubric. Before you submit your files for grading, you should review the project rubric to see if you're doing all the things that are expected from the projects. One thing that students have said in the past is, how come I didn't get a higher grade? And I point them always back to the grading rubric, and you'll be able to see in your e-learning my grade center exactly where I took points off, and I'll have commented why. So again, best to review the project rubric before you submit any projects. If you have any questions on the project requirements or the project rubric, please let me know. Now we're going to move on to showing you some examples of good, okay, and poor projects. So the third project is called Arcambolo, and it's again based on a famous painter from the early 1500s. And the whole style that we're creating in is he created faces and portraits out of other objects, but he painted them. You're going to be finding other objects and then putting them together. Now here's a couple examples of poor projects. First of all, look at the layer names. Layer 2 copy 2, layer 1 copy 12. Oh my god, how do you even know what's on what layer? So this person got points taken off because of that. They also got points taken off because this is not really that compelling of an image. And as we go through from the poor to the good to the really good, you'll see. So here's another example. Look at the layer names. Some of the layers are named, some of them are not. Kind of boring in terms of the artistic style. Also, they were doing strawberries and blueberries, and they're mixing fruit and vegetables, and then all of a sudden we have a snake. I don't really understand that. Here's another example of a poor one. I don't even know what this is. This looks like Mr. Bill. Really poorly done, very boring, uncreative. Again, I don't understand this at all. Look at the layer names, layer 1, 2, 3, 4. That's ridiculous. And then this is supposed to be a person. I don't see any person in this. Here's another one. At least I can see a little bit of the person in this, but really doesn't meet the criteria for the project. And then this one is just, not all that good in terms of this, the building of the character. So these are all poor examples of Project 3, the Arcobolo project. All right, so here we are looking at some good examples of Project 3 for CGA 217. So this is literally the crazy cat lady image. I really liked it. Notice there's cats all over the place. Very interesting. The next one, if we zoom in, this is all fruits and vegetables. So tomatoes and garlic and different things. It's a little bit too abstract. I'd like to be able to see, when you first look at it, especially zoom back, I'd like to see a little bit more detail. This one's interesting, but it needs a little bit more definition. When you first look at it, kind of just looks like random flowers, and then you kind of have to figure out, oh, here's the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. So a little bit too more abstract. This is all candy. Good, but I don't understand what the background's doing in terms of the bubbles in the background. I'm not sure if that's like this is gum and it's blowing bubbles. I don't really get it, so I'm not sure I like that one. This one, get it to switch. Oops. All right, so this one, again, lots and lots of flowers. I would like to see a little bit more definition. This one is interesting with the baseballs and the mitts and the the bats and so this is kind of interesting. Well done. This one again is all fruit and different shapes to make it interesting in terms of the hair. I'd like to see a little bit more definition in this. And then this one is all spaghetti and pasta. So interesting. These are okay jobs. I would say these would get solid B's in terms of the grading. So here are 3 examples of some really great projects from last semester. Here's the first one with flowers, and you can see the clearly defined torso and neck, and then the really intricate display of the face and the features using the flowers, and then the flowers for the hair. Very, very well done. Here's another really good one. This didn't really kind of knock my socks off because she used all elements from the solar system and the cosmos and made a face out of it. And it was really, really just interesting and cool looking. And she did everything right in terms of her layers and all that good stuff. And last but certainly not least, here's one I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. This is all shells and waves and water to make the face. Notice the drop shadow as well, so she can really have some contrast. The only thing I would probably have changed in this is maybe made this background just a tiny bit darker, just so it would pop off these elements. But these are the good examples from last semester. So that's the end of this video. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or talk to me after class or before class or come to my office hours. And I'll be more than happy to answer any of the questions that you might have.